y'all. We're a little late, but that's all right. We be here, right? So y'all already know. Welcome back to another episode with your hottest podcast out here. Y'all know that's Spoken with Purpose. I am one of the hosts, Tanya.
And I am your girl host, Kiana.
We got some special people here in the building. We're going to start off with our brother podcast. Y'all already know that is CTI. Fly Guy Side in the building. We're going to let him holler at you for a second.
Yes, Fly Guy Side, CTI in the house, man.
And then we got another special guest here in the building.
Woo-hoo!
That's family right there. That's cousin Michelle. What you go by? Michelle, what you go by?
Yeah, y'all call me Michelle, but my legal name is Michelle.
And she an actor, so y'all already know we like to talk. We like to talk, okay? Well, let's talk then.
Let's do this. All right, so this is episode 7, and our topic for tonight is, when is it time to leave?
Yeah.
Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
When is it time to leave? And y'all already know what that means. And of course, y'all know we're not here to impose. We're not here to tell you guys when to leave or if not to leave. To leave or to not leave, put it that way. Right. So we're just here to talk about the process pretty much. Now, you make your own decision, but we're going to lay it out. Yeah. We're going to lay it out. Black and white for you.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
All right, so let's get started. So when you say when is it time for you to leave, that would mean that you're currently in some type of situation or in a connection with somebody where you feel like some of your mind is telling you it's time to walk away. Right?
Yeah, and I think this, you can look at this in several different ways. You can look at it in any type of relationship that you're in, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a business relationship, where it's contractual, whether it's a marriage or anything, any relationship you can apply this to. When is it time to leave? And I think we should explore all of those options and really just look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Look, that's my sort of stuff. All right, so which direction you want to take first, Jerry?
Let's go with let's go look at a business arrangement. Mm-hmm. And because I think a marriage or a physical relationship, is one of the easiest things to deal with.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at a business relationship, if you're looking at a business relationship and I think one of the things that you need to look at when you're considering when to leave would be, is this relationship working for you?
Right.
Because when you start the business relationship, it's exciting. It's just that honeymoon phase. So everybody is up and, wants to do this. But then after, I kind of describe it as a girdle comes off. When people get comfortable. So when people get comfortable, that's the girdle. And so you never really know. You never know what's under a girdle until it comes off.
Yep.
And see, in relationships, when people get comfortable, that the girdle comes off, and then you got to deal with what is there. Yes. And so, and I think that's true for any relationship.
I think it is because it gets kind of sticky. Definitely when it comes to a business relationship. Well, I'll say for me, because it's hard for me to walk away. It's really hard for me to walk away. And even though you can see what we would call obvious signs, like, okay, maybe you guys are not getting along, or, maybe stuff is just not going right in the business, like maybe someone is not handling their portion of the business, then I do think at some point, maybe you need to have someone else, like a third party, if you know that it's hard for you to say no or to walk away, then I think it needs to be someone else in the picture to be like, hey, this is not a good business decision. We got to cut some corners here, we got to let people go there, we got to do, if you are that type of person when it comes to a business thing, I think that you need to have a third party that lets you know.
I agree with what you're saying, Tanya. Like, it's a process, as far as like trying to understand when is it time to walk away. You want to make sure that you have exhausted all of the choices before you ultimately make that decision. So I think before you make that decision, it probably is smart to bring, and this is dealing with any kind of relationship. It's smart to bring in a third party.
Yeah,
it's almost like those reality shows where they go in and they save the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? The business is in shambles. Everybody's ready to quit.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Everybody's ready to quit. And then it takes somebody on the outside to come in and say, hey, look, don't walk away.
Yeah.
Give it one more shot, but this is what you
Yeah.
have to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
So,
like a fresh set of eyes.
yeah.
Somebody who's tangled, wrapped up, tied up, and tangled up in the situation. You know, we get tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Can't get past the issue that you see at hand. But if you get a fresh set of eyes and a whole other perspective to come in, you might be able to look at that thing a whole other different way. You know what I'm saying? New channel, the way it's going.
And you know, I beg to differ. I think a liaison in some instance may not actually validate, you know, what it is that you're wanting to have done within that business. Like, for instance, if you're wanting to keep it going with that individual as a partner and that person comes in and counteracts that, and it's like they're now making the decision for you. So I don't want anyone on the outside looking in to try to come in and dictate whether or not I should continue a business relationship with someone. And that's even in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need somebody on the outside looking in. I don't need somebody that's on the outside looking in and trying to dictate what I have going on in my relationship.
And I agree with that. I think it is. I think if you're, for those who are seeking something before they decide to call quit, then I think it makes sense. But if that's not what you're seeking, you know what I'm saying, then that's not for you.
Yeah, God, but it all depends on what you call that third party in there for. Because if you guys have already realized that you can't come to a decision, and both of you guys realize that. You know, because sometimes I think we realize that it may be time to go, and nobody knows how to let go. Nobody wants to let go. I do believe that it would be wise to bring someone in and maybe, because you can tell them that, look, hey, we really don't want to cut the business deal off, but at the end of the day, you want me to look at the camera, you want me to slide in?
Yes.
Okay, well, we have to make sure we get this thing right. But, you know, then when you get a fresh set of eyes, and you're like, hey, we don't want to stop it, but so, you know, we just want you to come in and observe, and if you see a way that we can save this, then, you know, let us save it. But at the end of the day, if there wasn't no way to save it, then you just got to let it be what it is.
You know, and I agree with all of that, because everything is an option. I think it's, you know, it's when it really becomes, when you're, you know, what the topic says is, when do you know it's time to leave? You know, so when you're just focusing on when the time to leave, you know, sometimes you don't recognize things, because if you go in a business relationship with somebody that you're related to, somebody that you're personal, that you like, but then they begin to, you know, fall short. You know, they're not doing the things that that y'all started with, because something may have changed in their life. Maybe they got married, maybe they had a child, maybe they lost their job, you know, whatever it could be. And then the responsibility of the business is not priority, but nothing has changed in your particular life. So if it's just like me, nothing has changed in my life, and Side, you know, just got married and just had a child. Well, we have a business agreement. You know, I understand you got stuff going on, but this has, the business is, you know, that has nothing to do with this business. This is, you know, this is how we make money, so you can't even provide for your family unless this is a priority. And I understand, you know, that things may come in play where, you know, the wife is saying, I need you to spend some time, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. You know, she wants you to get a steady job, you know, whatever that may be. You know, you signed on with contractually with this. So that could cause issues.
And I think that's what it is. It's contractual with every type of situation that you're in. That's because, like you said, when the walk away is in all aspects. You know what I'm saying? So it's contract. So the bond there is whether you guys are on the same page. That's where the bond is. Once you guys are no longer on the same page together, then you guys need to be able to have that line of communication still open, where you can say, hey, we're not on the same page no more. If it's a business relationship, hey, do I need to buy you out? Do I need to, you know, do we need to renegotiate the contract? Maybe you take your percentage down to 37, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a relationship, a whole another different, you know, a set of options, but you guys have to be on the same page. If you're not on the same page, that's when you start thinking, when is it to walk away?
Oh, hey, viewers.
Hello.
Y'all already know. Thank you guys so much for watching.
For sure.
Definitely put your comments in, because you know we include them into the show, and I know we know that you guys love that asset, and we love it too. So tap on the keyboard and let us know what you think.
Tap.
So yeah, it's definitely sticky when it comes to business. Let's take it another direction.
Yes, let's go somewhere else.
Let's go to the direction.
You said it.
Okay, so we want to go with the marriage, dating, or where we go?
Let's
Jay.
look at Day.
Okay.
We'll tackle that marriage of the year. Yeah, we go for Day. All right, you want to start?
You know, I think
What? I want to know, like, who determines when it's time to leave? Is it the individual itself that determines when it's time to leave, or are you allowing like society, your friends, your family, etc.,
outside forces.
to tell you when it's time to leave? Who determines when it's time to leave? What do you think?
I think you make determine. I think the determination should be with you as far as when
Ultimately,
it's
you
time.
would think that it would, but there's a lot of chatter from outside that also influences you to make that decision whether or not you should leave or stay.
I agree. That's why I was going to make this point as far as, because why are you even saying it's time to leave? Because obviously you're still currently in a situation.
Absolutely.
So now you're thinking like, I'm still here, but in the back of my mind, I feel something is telling me that I should run for the door. Like, let's tackle that. What's telling you that you need to go? Like, is it the sex that's telling you need to go? Is it that you're not lining up with your expectations? You know what I'm saying? Are you actually enjoying the relationship? Is fulfillment to you, but the outside world is telling you that, hey, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't be putting up with X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where you was coming from. Like, what exactly is giving you the question of, is it time for me? Should I leave?
I think that, have y'all ever seen that commercial, the Windex commercial where the bird flies into the window?
Mm-hmm.
The glass is so clear.
Yes.
Now, it's very obvious to everybody looking on that there's glass, there's
Right.
a window there. But for the birds who are actively traveling,
Mm-hmm.
they're not noticing. And I think that happens in relationships. When you're actively involved in a relationship,
Right.
a lot of times you don't actually notice some things, and people on the outside actually see things that you don't see. They see that there's danger ahead. They may actually see that's a window, it's not a clearing. And see, you may not acknowledge it because you're invested for a whole nother reason. You might be invested because this is my baby daddy. I want my kids to be raised by their father. I need, you may be invested for several other reasons that you don't even see. You're about to run into some glass. And so when someone says that, you don't acknowledge that this is a problem. You may fuss about it. You may complain. You may talk to your girls, your guy friends. You may do all of that, but you've done nothing to deal with the situation. And anytime you're talking to someone, anybody outside of it, Tanya and I are in a relationship. If we have a problem and I'm talking to Kiana about it, Kiana can't do nothing about this right here. She can't do anything. So anytime you're talking to someone other than the person that you have the conflict with, there's nothing. I mean, there's no resolution.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because the only resolve can come from is between the two of us.
Absolutely.
Now, you can give an opinion and you can influence our decisions, but she and I are the two who are in the relationship, and I think a lot of us get caught up in that by allowing outside forces,
That's exactly what I was going to say.
or we don't see it. And there's two things: you either allow an outside force to dictate something, or it's something that you need to hear from that outside force because you don't see it, because you're blind, because you want this, because you've been single for the last 8 years and everybody else is married, and it's your time.
I get it, and I agree with it to a certain extent. I think you just have to be wise and mature about outside opinions, because they can persuade you and they can actually cause more damage than they do help. You know what I'm saying? Because people can get real opinionated, or they can impose how they feel like a relationship should be on you, and because it's not functioning in that way, now they kind of persuade you. You're actually fine. You know what I'm saying? You may realize that you guys have an issue, and maybe y'all need to learn how to tackle that, to resolve that, but you weren't trying to go. But now instead, this person over here that got in your ear, and now they're making you feel like, well, damn, I might need to leave. But you never had a problem in that area at all. So that's why I believe that you need to be wise. I don't think that you should just always cut it off. You know what I'm saying? Cut people off from, other people's ideas or something that they may see that you don't necessarily see. I just think that sometimes you just got to be, quick to hear and slow to speak.
Right.
Just step back and do an observation and look at everything. Like, maybe I am a little blind. Maybe I am a little gullible. Let me step back and, take another look. But don't be so quick to move, because everybody know me, good. Yes.
Agree.
We haven't heard from you.
Tosh. Got a question or a comment.
Oh, somebody had a comment.
Well, there's a lot of comments.
Okay.
Okay.
Kimi says, "Hey, Kimi."
Hey,
She says, "Hey, sister." She also says, "My sister is so smart." She also,
I love you, and I did not tell her to say that.
Okay.
and she also says, "Tony, get your hand out your eye."
Get my hand out my what?
Your eye.
Oh yeah.
David, what is B? What's the call-in number?
The call-in number.
That
No,
is not
have
no
a
call
call-in
in.
number.
Look, he ain't gonna learn CTR.
And
Just leave your comment right there, please.
You always want to talk. Look, type on the keyboard.
we have a comment again from Lakeisha. She says, "You determine when it's time to leave." The hell?
That's from the.
That's from, I guess, earlier. So the comments are coming in when y'all are
Well, the
speaking.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Also, Keisha says, "People are going to always have something to say."
Yes.
Always watching as well. He says, "Wow."
Wow.
Hey,
Hey-oh.
Kimi is very active tonight, Kimi. She says, "A woman can put up with anything. It just depends on how long she's willing to put up
Yes.
with it."
I agree.
Keisha, did you want to respond?
No, I was just gonna say that. Yes, I did want to respond. So I think that, women, as women, we will put up with so much. We will put up with a plethora of things.
Yeah.
But when we are done,
We're done.
you're done. And I know for somebody like myself, if I'm done, you cannot buy me a car. You cannot give me a house. I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
But what makes you done? This is what the question is.
Yeah,
right?
because it's, yeah.
Is when do you know? So when you know it's time to walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm
Do you allow yourself to get to a point where you hate that individual?
And I think hate is a strong word because, it's not even a matter of hate because for me personally, I will go through
But you just said that when you're done, that person can't even buy you a car.
Right.
That don't mean you hate them.
That doesn't mean I hate
That don't mean
you.
you
though.
hate them.
And I think that's an excellent question because it's not that I hate you. It's just that I have completely detached. I don't want any. You know what I'm saying? We've gone through this. I've gone through whatever emotions I've gone through. I've gone through the. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross has the steps of grieving, and I believe we all go through them till you get to a point of acceptance. And when you get to that point of acceptance, it's done.
Yeah.
So we're done. So you don't owe me anything. I've accepted all. I don't have any animosity. We don't have to be enemies, but I don't want anything from you because see, we ain't even there no more.
Right.
But that in all actuality, you're carrying a certain amount of anger and despite. Because look, if you guys' relationship was, we were together, we figured out that it didn't work, so we're no longer together. That shouldn't mean that we can no longer speak to each other.
no, yeah,
that doesn't mean that we can
I
no
was
longer.
talking about the receiving things from
Yeah,
that
but that's
individual,
what- but
at
that's
the
what it
end
might
of the
be.
day, you can still be cordial with a person
Let me
without
give-
having to
Right.
really
Well, let me
point.
give a good example. Like with P. Diddy, with J. Lo and Ben Affleck when they got married, he bought her a car. You know what I'm saying? He bought them a car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you make the comment, like, I wouldn't even take a car, it's like, well, it got to be a little bit of animosity
like,
still
I
there.
ain't want
You know
that.
what I'm saying? So,
I ain't want that.
do
I'm
you
good.
wait till you get to that point to walk away?
That's really good. I never thought about it like that because see, I don't
that's
think
good.
I didn't think about it like
That's
that because
good.
see, my thing is, how if you in the relationship, see, I can be cool with you. I'm good. It's just that what I've had in the past is still offering me gifts like this is going to bring me back.
That's
and see,
different though.
right.
That's different though.
And
That's
so
different.
you're absolutely right, and that's what I didn't think
Yeah.
of when I made
Yeah.
that comment. So absolutely,
I agree,
But-
but and then
absolutely. So that way, I could definitely see how you could say there's got to be
It's
something
something
because it's
that's-
not
Yeah.
that I don't try to get me back. I'm done. Now we can,
That's
if you want to,
different,
we
yeah.
want to go to dinner. I can still
I
be
see what
cool
you're
with
saying
you.
with that. I see
Yes,
what you're saying
but
with that, yeah.
don't come at me trying to do this again because
Yeah.
when I'm done, I'm done. I'm
I
not
agree.
going back
Gotcha.
there.
I
But
agree.
yes, we can be friends. We can,
Yeah.
you want to buy me and my new man a car? We good.
So
I don't have a problem like
let me
that.
ask, do you all wait till you're at a point where you're now despising an individual to make the choice to walk away.
I think a lot of women do.
I don't know, because there was a point. I remember when I was at a point in a situation with a dude, and I had a conversation with Kiana about it, and I was like, I would rather end the relationship now before you take me to a place where you done fucked up my whole perspective about you. Like, I don't even want to talk to you because I never seen you as the individual that you're showing me now. So I'm like, okay, so before I can even get to that, because I don't even allow myself to get to that place. I don't never want to be in that place, to be honest with you. So I've never got there, but I felt like I could be there because of, they did like a 180. And I was like, so before it could possibly even go that route, I would rather cut it off now, so that way we can still deal with each other on some cordial jump, but never on the personal relationship, on some personal stuff. But I think that people need to recognize that, because women do stay in situations where they know they continue to hurt. Now you over here thinking about, you plotting and thinking about how you can get revenge. And I don't know, but maybe the dudes too. And I think at that point you need to go. Why would you sit there and just let yourself get to that point? Like, no, I think that's what they end up being when they sit there and plotting. But I think we got some comments.
Keisha says, right, Tanya. That means she's done Fly Guy Side. That was to you. That was from Keisha. Keisha also says, Fly Guy Side, there is such a thing as a peaceful breakup.
Yeah.
And they should, and the majority of them should be. The reason why they not is because people don't know when it's time to walk away. People don't know. They allow. Look, I'm gonna answer the question like this. Before you get to a place where you feel of anger and hate and despise for a person, the step before you get there is the step when you walk away.
Yeah, like what I was
You know what I'm saying? That's the step when you walk away.
And they could be seconds apart.
they neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? The thin line between genius and insanity. You know?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Keisha is very active tonight. Keisha said Gibbs won't make her come back.
Yeah.
Dudes try all kind of shit to keep you hanging on.
And see, that's right.
But it's ultimately up to you though. When do you decide to walk away?
And that's a comment
because y'all
coming
might keep
now.
on hanging on as long as they steadily doing something to make you hang on.
And Keisha says, I think you should know your worth. Never settle.
And see, and that's
another direction to this conversation.
But I think that has a lot to do with how we make our decisions. We all have a filter that we put all new information through, and if those old filters have not been cleaned,
that's dirt. That's sticky. Because you know what I think that filter is? It's a bit of a comparison. When I called Sai and we was kind of talking about the direction of the show, and then we got into some personal information. But you know what I'm saying? I think that's sticky because when you're gonna look through that filter, you're doing a comparison. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I don't think that it's okay to do that.
Right.
And I think that that's ultimately why people be with this question of, is it time for me to go?
Right.
Because now you're comparing them to something else that you done had or some other standard that they believe that should be in the relationship. Like dudes should have it all together.
Right.
It's you know what I'm saying? It's a standard that the nigga should be taking care of the household, all the bills. He should be taking care of the automobiles. He should be taking care of the yard work. You know what I'm saying? So when you go to slacking on all of these things that they say that a dude should be handling, you automatically go to thinking through that filter, what you just said. You go to thinking like, well, why don't we just...
Well, absolutely, and we have a filter with what's in our imagination. If you grew up with two parents in the household, that's your ideal.
Yeah.
That's your situation. That's what you
That's
want
your
for your.
foundation.
That's your foundation.
Yeah.
So everything goes through that filter.
Yeah.
So we all have one. It does not matter. It's
You're
what.
absolutely right.
It's everyone, because it's just like I want my kids to be raised in a two-parent household. I want I want to be raised in a brick house
You
with
do, but
four.
life brings something totally different though.
Absolutely, but there goes your comparison, because it's always goes
Right.
through a filter, because you're
Right.
comparing it to something.
I would agree with that, Shell, but what we don't like to do, because now everybody else is telling you when it's time to leave.
Yeah.
Because you can want
That
those
goes back to
things.
what I was saying.
Exactly, because you can
earlier.
initially want those things because maybe somebody else told you that's what you should have, that's what a perfect relationship should be. But now that you in this situation, you can't even enjoy it, or you can't even learn how to make this shit work for you because you're so stuck on
You're
your
just like, I need this, I need this.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't even get past the junk. So you like, motherfucker, you always got the question of bitches. It's always been time to go.
So that who actually determines when you leave,
Yeah.
when you fed up. It's society.
Exactly.
It's what you've been brought up in, that foundation, that filter you're talking about looking through.
What if
That-
the filter's
Y'all
dirty?
sort of got deep in this thing.
What if the filter's dirty? Oh,
But you know
good,
what?
good, good.
You know what you have to look at is how you make that decision is the consequence. If I tell you to leave him, I don't have to deal with the consequences of
You
how
gotta
you gonna
believe it.
live,
Right.
how you gonna pay your rent, how you gonna do
That's
any of
very
that.
good.
See, I don't have to do
That's
any
very
of that.
good.
And if you listen to
That's
me,
very good.
and you listen to me and
Yeah.
say, well, Shell told me to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Shell got a place to stay.
Yeah.
Shell got a car to drive. She pay her own bill. She got all that. He been paying that all for you, but you gonna listen to me and to me tell you,
Damn
and you ain't got nowhere to live. And you can't live with me.
Wait, one
That's
second.
why Shell wouldn't be making no damn
And
decisions.
that's what I said. You gotta deal with the consequences.
It does happen. It does happen. But guess what? What you said makes absolute complete sense.
Yeah.
The fact that it happens is why that makes so much motherfucking
Yeah.
sense. Because females do that.
Yeah.
Females
just putting it on us.
Humans do. Humans do it.
But I can honestly probably say
More
it's
than
more females who are influential over other females than it is men over,
I beg the difference.
you know what I'm saying, influential over
I'm gonna
other
beg the
men.
difference with you there on that. And
Well, we
this is why I'm saying I beg the difference with you because I think it goes both ways.
It does.
But look,
Of course, y'all.
Because
If you just deal with numbers,
No, but
if you
listen.
just deal with numbers,
No,
it would be more because there's more of us than them.
so
There's more women on the face of the earth than
You're right.
men.
You're right.
We also have
Hey,
some comments.
you're
Now,
right.
hold on that comment. I'm gonna let him come. Look, listen to my perspective first. Why?
Okay,
Here we
I
go.
don't want to go into, okay, men, we do
No,
it too.
that's
Okay,
not what I'm saying.
I don't
Not
wanna
like
go
that.
into
I'm gonna tell you why I feel that way. It's because I think you guys have this standard of a woman. Because I think women are a little bit more lenient towards working shit out when a nigga ain't got. They actually, you got some women who are some breadwinners in society that told them that the man need to be the breadwinner, and we still up here working this shit out. You got men who real deal feel like they don't want that woman. If your woman done been out with Tom, Dick, and Harry, they done been out with every nigga in your crew. Trust me, you got a whole problem with that. Especially when you go hang out with your boys and everybody got something to say about your wife.
But
You
let me-
lean more
yes,
towards the
But
majority.
this is why you got a man on the show right now. First and foremost,
Come on,
niggas don't go around talking, and they probably got one road dog that they super cool with, and they talking about what's going on in the house with. We don't do that as a norm. We don't talk about what's going on in our household as a norm. Females tend to talk about that sort of y'all lane, talking about the drama, and see y'all shaking y'all head, but you can look at
women.
reality shows show it, and all these different type of things show that women are more susceptible to talking about
think that
what's
there's
going
certain- I
on
think
in
there's-
households and who doing this with what and this, that, and the
Well,
third.
let me tell you this.
Men don't really, when we out, we not really talking about what's going on. When we got
That
some
could be
shit
true.
going on,
That could be
it
true.
ain't nothing for us to come out and be talking
It could
about.
be true, but we also had we had an episode where it was dealing with sisterhood. First of all, the conversations that me and Kiana have, we may have a conversation on a personal level, but I'm never gonna tell her to leave her homeboy. That ain't my place. You need someone to be a listening ear. You need a shoulder to cry on. I got you all day, but I'm not here to make no decision. I'm not here to throw old boy up under the bus. As a matter of fact, what I do is I just look, nigga, we all got faults at the end of the day. Nigga, he might not be right in that, but at the end of the day, it's plenty wrong that you done did. Forgive him.
Yeah.
I'm all that's on that end. You know what I'm saying? If you like him, I love him. Now, if you want to leave him at the end of the day, go head on. But we don't really do that. It's all the type of woman, the type of friends that you have.
That's right.
Them love and hip hop shows, all that
Thank you.
foolishness.
That's
too heavy. You know, wrong
Right.
wrong
That's
perspective
entertainment.
of women. Because
Yeah.
we don't roll.
We don't
like
roll
that.
like that. We don't roll like that.
Who y'all roll like that?
That's what's up. That's
We
what's
don't
up.
pop- yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's
yeah.
up.
Pop like
That's
that.
what's up. That's what's up.
And you know, I think
That's
it's
what
important.
ladies out there need to hear. That's what ladies
And I
out
think it's
there need to
important
hear.
that,
For real.
you know, when your girlfriends do come to you with that you remind them of, you know, because I'll be the first one to remind you. See, I don't have to deal with the consequences of that. You need to make sure that you can handle the consequences. Because see, whatever happens after that, it does not affect me like it affects you.
And
And
even
you
if
have
you
to
went
know
ask
that.
for. I'm just saying, because
Yeah.
some people cannot, because friends know how to overstep bounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta know, just like we had another, I don't know whether we had a conversation or maybe we was gonna think about talking about a show, where people go, they don't know their place.
Right.
You don't know your place. It's certain stuff that you just can't come over here and say, bro. I don't care how. Look, I could be in the most abusive relationship, and I ain't talking about physically. Whatever type of relationship that I am in, you better hold your tongue. I'm telling you, period. Like, you can't come over here and just talk to me no any kind of way, or talk about my mate no any kind of way. Like, it's the way that you do everything. You know what I'm saying? And other than that, you better pay attention to how you do it if you really want me to hear it, because I'm gonna reject it if you come. If that's someone that I love, why would you even come like that?
Right.
You just gotta be wise at some point. It's shit that needs to be said. I'm blessed.
When do you walk away?
Don't be talking to me, son.
After it's all said and done, when do you walk away?
Yeah.
Because everybody, look, this is what I've learned so far talking about this. And there's like there ain't no identical snowflake.
Yeah.
There's no identical, palm. There's no identical situation. Every situation is so different in so many variations that everybody's situation is different on when to walk away.
Absolutely. And we had a conversation earlier. We was kind of, going over the topic and talking with another one of our friends, and we had that same question asked to her, and she was saying that she would walk away because of constant unhappiness. Like, it has to be constant. Like, I'm consistently unhappy, regardless of what the situation is or what the circumstance is. If I'm always unhappy,
we talked about that. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, the constant unhappy.
I do, and I think a great example of it. Let's just say this.
Or being sick
Because
inside.
I do. So let's just say if you have a problem. Let's just say you have a problem with. Let's just narrow it down. You have a problem with you not affection. You're not affectionate enough. So you realize that old boy or old girl, whoever is the one who's not affectionate, you brought it to the table. I told you that this is what I need. You told me that you have a hard time with doing it, but you know what I'm saying, we're gonna work on this. We're gonna see how we can do this. Now you got another issue. Every time that you have another issue, you tell them about this thing, but there's no working towards it. Like, there's no and now you feel like it's inconsiderate. It's a little bit disrespectful. Like, I'm becoming a non-factor in here. Like, how can we be an item? You know what I'm saying? And you're not even really thinking about my needs. At that point, you got to start thinking, like, am I in it for them, but they ain't in it for me? Like, we're not a real deal team.
That happens a lot too. And then it's like this. Okay, so there's a difference between somebody walking away. So it's a difference between somebody walking away from something they've been doing for 5 years.
Yeah.
Or better, you know what I'm saying, versus somebody who's been doing something for 3 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
You laughing, but it's real. You know what I'm saying? You laughing, but it's real. It's like, when situations like that occur, it's like, it takes time to understand if people what motives people have when getting, because everybody might not have the same motive when they get in a relationship. Absolutely. And that's why and you don't find that out right away either.
I agree.
And sometimes that's the reason why people hang on, because they don't know all the way yet. They thinking in their head, maybe it's something I'm doing wrong, maybe it's a lack of communication, something. But all the whole time, this person got a whole different motive on why they dealing with you.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's that part of that girdle, because when that girdle comes off, see, now you're left to deal with whatever.
Absolutely.
And see, now that's when you got to make a decision.
Yeah.
That might be the first time that you're even thinking about. I might even be thinking about how to get out, where to exit. Because if this is not what you came into, this is not what was presented to you, and that's in a marriage, that's exactly what it is. The Word of God says that the two shall become one. Mm-hmm. So anytime that happens, there's going to be some friction. There's going to be some friction. And so if you're not equipped or ready to deal with that, if you're just, I ain't planning to deal with that, I'm not ready to deal with my issues, I didn't want to see this and whatever, that's going to be a problem, and you're already looking for an exit.
Yeah. But if you called bringing two people together, there's going to be some friction. You're not going to have two people. There's no way you're going to have to be prepared for everything.
If it was that simple, we would not have as many divorces as we have.
I totally agree with you, but I also understand that is definitely why we have so many divorces.
I agree with it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, that's why we got so many, because you can't be trying to bring two forces together and you don't realize that you're going to have some issues that you got to work through.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Because it's inevitable.
Yes.
Y'all are gonna have an issue. That's how life works. Life is you gonna.
Because you're
But
two
so many of us are
separate individuals that's trying to become one. You have two separate
Y'all are gonna bash.
personalities, everything. It's gonna bash. You gotta try to blend that thing. You know, you gotta gel well together. You gotta start trying to figure out how to gel those personalities well together.
And to be honest with you, that's what builds a relationship.
Absolutely.
That's what builds a relationship.
It
for real.
is.
And that's exactly why I don't lead the relationship, because I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it will eventually, gel together well. Those personalities will blend. I'll be able to see myself, a reflection in the mirror, and then adjust accordingly. And hopefully he'll see, based on, our relationship, he'll see himself in the mirror, and the personalities will start flowing together well.
Exactly, but on the fleshly side, because I think that's ultimately why the person is still there, why they're still remaining in a relationship with these thoughts or these false expectations of what things should be, is why they have this question: should I leave? But we had some comments, and we don't want to be rude. So Tasha, go ahead.
Lakeisha says, but a dirty filter isn't a comparison. It's a dirty filter.
Yeah, it is.
Shit. It's sometimes nothing can be done to clean it.
I think it's some situations out there like that.
Kimi says, people should look for happiness in their mate, because you will want to leave the second they stop making you happy.
You better
You gotta
say
find other reasons to stay.
it. Mm-hmm.
That's my
I'm coming back to that.
Lakeisha comment is to Fly Guy's side. You're right. Girls always trying to impress another girl. She will break up with you just because another girl said what she wouldn't do if she was you.
Outside influences.
That's so stupid.
But it happens.
That was
Outside influences.
My phone just went dead. It's so bad. Yeah. We talk about the drama with other women to get in sight with another woman, to get in straight with another woman.
Mm-hmm. But the time that my phone is cool.
We have. I started it over.
Okay.
So we're good. Just the comments.
We're
Everybody is
trying
chatting.
some new equipment, so.
Right. So we're good. I started that over. We got a lot of people watching. Hi, everybody. Thank you
y'all.
for tuning in.
Hey.
Naisha Week says, if you're going to ask yourself, is it time to walk away? Then it is.
It very well could be.
That's nice.
That's a good one.
Damn.
That's a good one.
Me,
Yeah.
see, don't
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
damn, you
that's a
done
good
took the whole conversation away. You think
Yeah.
it's time to go, it's time to go.
You
Tanitra
gotta
Blake
ask
is
yourself that
watching.
question.
Yeah.
It's time to
It's-
motherfucking go.
It's a possibility. It might be time to go.
You know, I'm gonna entertain that, but go ahead, Tasha.
Tanitra Blake says, hey, y'all.
Hey, quit.
Walk away when you're constantly questioning things. It's pointless trying to fix what's broken. People only change for who they want to.
Is it broken, or are you just questioning?
Have you exhausted all your
Yeah.
possibilities, all your options? That's why I feel like if you exhausted all your options,
Yeah.
like I tried this, I tried that, it's
Do
not
people-
enough.
do-
It's not going. You know
Do
what
people
I'm saying?
really only change for who they want to change for? Because she said people only change for who they want to change
I mean,
for.
that's
And I've
being
heard
what-
that. That's been thrown out a lot.
I understand. Well, at least what I believe that means is you're gonna be with who you want to be with. I mean, why else would you put 100% into a relationship with someone you don't want to fuck me with? Am I gonna do that? So yeah, you're gonna change for who it is that you want to change for, because you want to be with that person. That's how I feel about that comment. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's my, because I'm quick to impose my else. I'm like, no, that's not what they meant. It's what
Because
they meant.
every woman is not like Latanya.
I think that when you heard a true change has to come within. It has to be something that you want to do because of who you are,
Yep,
not
that
for
is-
before someone
yeah.
else. Because it will always hinge on, I'm just doing this for her. And as soon as you get tired for her, I don't care about this bitch no more. I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then that makes it easy to walk away. But when it's something, you know what? I'm not going to use profanity because that's not the person that I want to be. I am not going to steal anymore. I'm not going to cheat anymore because
It's
I
about
don't want to be that
Yeah,
person
right. Your
anymore.
own inner
And so it
elevation.
is something that I want, and it's going to benefit the people that I'm with.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I'm not even doing it for the benefit of no other.
Right, that's
it's your
extra,
tradition.
right?
Yeah,
it's
your
something I'm
tradition.
doing because that's not the person I want to be, and that is where change actually takes place, and where it has the
Yeah.
greatest impact is because I'm doing this something because this is something that I need to do for me,
I totally
for the
agree
person
with
that I want to be.
I totally agree with that, hands down. Because it does, you have to be strong in whom you are. You gotta walk in the boldness of you. Because y'all already know we get a lot of feedback on this show. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really care about people's opinion about whether, how they feel about our Christianity and how we, act out or display our Christianity on this show, because we secure with who we are in the Lord. So I can drink all day until he tells Tanya that she can't drink. I don't really care about what nobody else got to say. You know what I'm saying? But because that's you trying to impose on. If the Lord told you don't eat no meat, he said don't eat no meat, but he ain't told me yet. If he ain't tell me to put this goddamn drink down, you know what I'm saying? Then let me be. Don't impose me. There's no condemnation here. He ain't come to bring no condemnation. But that's a whole nother conversation. Oh, and it's coming.
It's coming.
Then listen to me and hear me well. That conversation is coming. But I do agree with you, Shell. You have to be confident in yourself.
Because that's the drawing part that you have to other people is that level of confidence, that uniqueness, that person that you are.
You had some more?
No, we have 15 minutes to move on to the next.
Oh, because okay, so there was another, this conversation came about with you.
With me?
He don't even know that.
Let's go there.
Look, because,
15
he's our brother podcast.
CTO.
Yeah. So
Controversy Talk Radio. Y'all make sure y'all follow with us.
yeah, all day. But sometimes, as podcasters, you got to go with the conversation that needs to be talked about. Sometimes they're last minute, and we're women, so the majority of the time it's really just women on the show. And what we need, someone who we know gonna keep it 100 raw, 100 and last minute.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, Fly Outside is the man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I gotta call him. So this happened yesterday. So when I called him and I asked him to be on the show, and then we was kind of chatting about what the conversation was gonna be, and I told you guys it got a little bit, because of the topic, it had to get a tad bit personal. And we keep it real on the show, even when the conversations are hard to have.
Yep.
At the end of the day, there's conversations that need to be had.
Yeah, it needs to be had.
Yeah. So this next portion of the conversation is gonna be
A little sticky.
Oh, what the hell you about to?
You forgot what y'all talking about?
We talking a whole lot of shit.
Some of that about to happen.
What you about to feel about me?
Yeah, we talking about. We was just talking.
It's
you know
about
what I'm saying?
being in a relationship while you're married.
Oh,
You remember that conversation?
We did touch on that. We did touch on that.
And a lot of that has something to do with the first portion of this conversation is not knowing where to lead, period.
Right.
So if you find yourself yet married for whatever reason, well, still married, I'll say that, and then now, whatever, I don't know, who knows, maybe it's the divorce is expensive.
Even in long-term relationships, not so much marriage, is you in
Correct.
a long-term relationship,
Right.
Still sit still.
and now you in another relationship.
Yeah,
Like,
relationship.
yeah, we talked about it.
But now
Yeah,
you
we talked
recant
about
it.
it. Yeah, we talked about it.
But yeah, like for whatever reason, you're still legally married.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to the first portion of this conversation, as far as to when to walk away. So you guys may not be together physically anymore. Like you got maybe someone is in one location, another person is in another location. Maybe you guys could still be in the same location, but there's no, there's definitely no marital communication going on in the house. Put it that way.
Communication.
Yeah. So now,
Communicate in many forms.
correct. So let's just say you didn't get a divorce because it's too expensive. So now y'all still technically married But, you know, ain't no maritalness going on, so the nigga still got to live.
It's
so,
just the title.
You know, now you done got, maybe you start off in a situation.
Situationship.
Yeah, you know what? And I think, you know, when you're not getting, you know, when you feel like you're not getting something, when you're trying to work through a process, you know, you're always, whenever you're working through a situation, there always seems to be someone that comes into your eyesight in your area of space with that thing,
With the energy.
with that energy.
Yeah.
And it's even if you're not intentional about it, even if this is not something that you want to go forth, it's just that you're drawn in by this need that you have. You have a legitimate need that's not being met.
What's that need, Chef?
It could be anything. It could be attention. It could be affection. It could be sex.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, it could be a number of things.
Yeah.
But when you're not getting it, and this is something that you need, not a want.
Yeah.
You know, not I want a fur coat.
Right.
This is something I need. I need your time. I need your affection. I need this.
Well, you
And
feel
so,
like
and when
you
you're not,
feel
and when you're
like
not,
you need it, but I'm with you.
so if you're not getting that,
Yeah.
and you know someone shows up willingly to give that, you know, even if you're like, I don't want to do. I mean, they show up, you know, wherever it is. It could be, you know, it could be
It
anywhere.
happens.
You know, it could be anywhere. It's not that you were looking for this. It can just, you know, something that you weren't looking for, but, you know, being mindful of, okay, this is something, this is a, you know, you have to be mindful of the fact that this is a need that I have and it's being met by this other person. That's the time when you need to be thinking about, do I need to leave or do I need to pull myself away?
But do
I
we
need
do
to-
that though, Shell?
Yes.
Because you know this is because once again because now you
It's
in
at
this
the
thing.
point of when do you do
I
it.
agree,
At
because
the
now
point
you
of when
in
do it.
this thing.
And see, you might play a little bit until it gets to bigger consequences, because smaller consequences you can take.
A little bit, shit.
But the
at
big
the end of the day,
consequences-
it's not
As I
Just
was
like
gonna
now.
also ask Tanya, you brought that up, you know, as far as to say what, you know, you're in a marriage, and then you also have, you know, a boyfriend. When do you walk away?
exactly. I
Like,
mean, because
you brought that up to say because you never, you know, finished. So I'm just trying to see where you were going with that. What?
it wasn't, you know, I'm bringing it up to me because don't be putting me in the hot seat. Just say. But no, I brought it up because at the end of the day, it's real shit. You know what I'm saying? This people actually dealing with this
Situations
junk.
like that all the time.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about shit that, you know, other people don't want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And whether it's a, you know, a spiritual view where you feel like you shouldn't be dibbling
right.
dabbling with other relationships when you still married, at the end of the day, it's happening. Captain. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like, so at the same time, I think like the reason for bringing it up, you married, but you in a relationship. Okay, your energy can only be divided so many ways. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that type of spiritual connection, your energy can really only be meant one way. It can't be divided between two.
Well, talk about it,
You know, so it's like, you know, it's like, especially for females, you know, especially y'all got children. I'm just saying the amount of energy you have
Yeah.
is split between a certain amount of things. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So when you have two different situationships basically going on, that's gonna drain you mentally and spiritually.
I think at some point it's definitely gonna happen because, you know, because you're technically still married and you guys have kind of placed it on the back burner for whatever reason. It could have been money, it could have been whatever. You guys, that marriage is kind of on the divorce, the official divorce is kind of placed on hold for whatever reason. Put it that way. So now you think that it's going to be official, but you guys can't necessarily get to it. So now you've allowed yourself to move on. Now you then got into another relationship with someone. And now you have not fully closed the door of your marriage, right? And then exactly, but what you have done is you have now embraced this new relationship. Well, bruh, this thing is real. But when eventually reality is gonna hit you, where you like, motherfucker, you can't ask but so much of a person. When you technically still married to someone, but you still feel like, bro, you see me every day. We deal with each other on the daily. Like, I feel like at some point I can hold you to a standard, but you still don't want to ask me to do but so much because you still married.
But this the whole
and vice
thing.
versa.
This the whole thing. See, y'all picking. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be
We don't want you
real.
to be no other
I'm
kind of
gonna
way.
be real now. Females, not y'all. Females.
Yeah.
You all guys are females,
Yes,
but y'all are different
yes.
breeds. So I'm gonna say females.
Come on.
Okay. Y'all pick and choose when to make personal shit business. See, y'all can do it any other. So give a perfect example. You and this nigga don't fuck with each other no more. Da 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 da. Bam, child support.
Yeah.
That shit business. That shit ain't got nothing to do with I'm waiting on him. I'm da 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 da. I'm da da da. No, I'm going down there and file this motherfucking shit. Put this nigga on child support. But now all of a sudden you in a dilemma for a divorce. You in a motherfucking dilemma. What's the goddamn dilemma? You go down there and file that shit. Just like you filed a motherfucking child support. You file that shit. What's the goddamn dilemma? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not understanding. It's business in the other motherfucking time. You know what I'm saying? It's business in the other motherfucking time. Like shit. Ain't no dilemma to get file that child support.
It costs money to get a divorce.
Guess
It don't cost no money to get child support.
Guess what? You
Say
come
that
up with that
again,
motherfucker. You come up with that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You get that. Look here.
It don't cost no money to get child support. A
That
divorce costs money. I don't know how much.
That
but child
$200
support,
some
you go down there and they will say, you put that nigga on child
Guess
support.
what?
They will make you do it. If you apply for a food stamp or any economic, they're going to say, no, you need to put that nigga on food
Hey,
stamp.
guess what?
So there you go.
Them $200 ain't getting in the motherfucking way. Them $200 ain't getting in the motherfucking way.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you really are wanting to leave, you can't come up with the money to get a divorce. Like, if that's
That's
what
what I'm
you
saying.
like,
That shit ain't $1,500.
then
$1,600.
when
I've
is
been
it
telling you.
You just don't do it.
First off, I'm gonna
I ain't
say I
say you-
wasn't ready for your goddamn
I ain't
talk.
say
I
you-
thought you were going a whole nother
I didn't say
direction.
get a lawyer. I didn't say get a lawyer.
Well, sometimes you need a lawyer.
Sometimes-
You
guess
need
what?
a
Guess
lawyer,
what?
and that's the time. That's
Guess
the
what? If you
problem
would-
with fighting.
But if you and this person got to understand them,
See-
y'all agreeing on this
See,
divorcing each other.
divorce is
Now if you doing a sneak attack,
No, listen.
that's a different
Cause I'm in
story.
this shit.
It's a lot of people still.
I'm just
I
saying.
mean,
I'm in this shit.
it's-
It's some really good shit. Divorce ain't just that simple.
No,
Unless
no,
you're,
it's not.
but I'm just saying it ain't as simple as going down there to go file some child support. But I understand. At the end of the day, if this shit is over, then make that shit happen.
Exactly.
So I'm
That's
doing
what
shit
I'm
by
saying. That's
any
what I'm
means
saying. That's what I'm
necessary.
But see,
saying.
why a
I totally
divorce,
get that.
but why a divorce is a little bit of a more of a situation is because the two of you have been married for a certain amount of time. Y'all have
Exactly.
built a certain amount of thing, and if one party says you don't get
Yeah.
as much as I think you deserve, but we've been in this marriage together for
Yeah.
these many years, I don't.
It's a
you know.
little bit sticky
That-
because
And so
you ain't
they
got
don't
no
wanna-
But
assets.
guess what? But guess
If you
what?
ain't got no
Guess-
assets,
guess-
that ain't shit.
Hold on. Guess what that boils down to? That boils down to business as well.
You will
So
be
now,
correct.
so now you sitting here saying, I'm gonna stay miserable behind business because I can't afford to sacrifice to get out of one business contract for another business contract. Because
See, you
the
can't
divorce
control-
is another business contract.
It is.
I don't fully agree with that. But
It is, no, it's another business
That's
contract.
how you end up in a relationship and still married.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
agree.
Thank
But I
you.
agree.
Yeah,
That's what
business
I'm saying. I
contract.
agree because, but what he's basically trying to tell you is that, well, I was looking at it a whole nother way because I thought you was trying to say that you stand in that miserable relationship because no, technically motherfuckers don't win to start in new relationships because who you miserable with unless you still trying
But you
to.
still technically married. That's why I was like, how you still, like, you got, we talked about this last night.
Mhm.
It's all, I look at it like this, it's like a book. Chapter 4 is your marriage.
Mhm.
Chapter 6 is your relationship.
Mhm.
You just don't want to read chapter 5. You just keep skipping chapter 5, but you got to go through chapter 5. Like,
Bitch,
somewhere
we
that
ain't
shit got
nobody
to
told
end.
us to read motherfucking chapter 5 yet. What the fuck you talking about chapter
Like,
5?
you got to
And you know, it may be difficult to get to chapter 5 because
You want
of.
to skip over it.
No, it's not even a matter of you may not want to skip over it, but it may be difficult to get to chapter 5 because see, you know, when you go for a divorce, you know, there has to be, you guys have to agree on things or you can stay in court. And if both parties cannot afford, usually it's the wife who cannot afford an attorney or something like that. So she does not have an attorney or anybody fighting for her. So she is either left with whatever she agreed to, what he give, or you stay until this is resolved. And that costs money.
Oh, no.
That's why they wind up being in, let me just get me a boyfriend. He can pay for this. Then maybe we can do this.
But guess what? You're eventually gonna have to come back. You can't complete
Yeah.
the book without reading the chapter. You're gonna eventually have to come back around to it. You can't just ignore it. You can't just say I'm married and I'm in a relationship and it go on happily ever after. That's not
No,
gonna-
it don't go
it's
happily
not
See,
gonna
but
happen.
if everybody agree to the terms,
No,
then
no, no.
It can run
It
can go for a long time.
But it won't run its course. It will run its
no,
course.
it's on some real nigga shit. At the end of the day, she can go on as long as y'all motherfuckers allow the shit to go on.
Yeah.
Now, shit ain't
And
gonna
attorneys
go
are
on
getting
for
all
too
the
long.
money.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
why
but-
gotta be terms?
I
If you
think
really
that-
done,
Just
Just be
done.
done.
Truly,
Just
I-
be done.
I ain't saying
Why
just
make
say
it
going to no
business?
divorce for no damn 15.
Why make it
That's
business?
like, I just like,
Why
I just
make it
skip that. I
business?
just skip that.
You know, I
You
feel
keep, you
keep
keep
it.
that.
I feel like
That
from
goes
my
back.
terms.
Give my name.
I worked
Goes back to the topic. When is it time to leave?
And then that's it.
Yeah.
When is it time to leave?
That's what I'm saying. That goes back to the topic. When is it time
When
to
you
leave?
want true,
When you're ready to leave, because evidently, if you were ready to leave, you will go ahead and get that divorce.
If we don't stop that with it, I need you to
I think everybody need to give their answer.
Yeah.
Are we at?
Stop
We
that.
still
Yeah,
going?
but I'm
What
working on it.
time? What's the time?
Y'all over it now.
Y'all
Yeah.
over.
So where,
Everybody
where
give their
was
answer.
it any more
I'm
comments?
putting the baby on the
Was
table.
it?
Baby coming to sit on the train. That baby sleep.
Girl, I
I'm
can't.
gonna put on the table.
Not.
So actually,
Look,
this term is over.
I can't even get my thoughts together.
So actually,
It was coming.
it's over.
Okay, okay. Look, Tasha told us it's time to wrap it up, man. You react, but I look on that conversation. Huh? Oh. So we about to wrap this thing up. So we're gonna get some final thoughts. Lord to mercy.
You wanted y'all to answer the question.
What was the question, sir?
When do you?
No, I just want everybody to give their final answer
Yeah,
on
it's
like
fine.
answering the question. You know what I'm saying? What's your final after everything?
Let's start here.
Okay,
Come on.
let's start.
What I'm saying earlier, what my thing is when it's time to leave is, a constant state of unhappiness. That's when I feel it's time to leave personally. That's me.
A constant state.
Of unhappiness,
I
yes.
get
If
that.
there's no resolve and it's a
Yeah, that's
constant,
what that means.
yeah, that's mine
Yeah, who says that though? A constant state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy right now.
I'm sort of gonna back up what she sort of said. To be honest
No,
with you,
because that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
happiness normally, because when you're trying to bring two forces together, then obviously you're going to have some ups and downs. But if there's always downs, that's what she means. Like
Yeah, I
if
know
it's
what she-
consistently downs, bitch, it's time to get it.
Yeah, if you have exhausted all other options to make things work, and you find yourself in a consistent state of unhappiness, then yeah, because you can't be miserable. That ain't what this is.
You can be.
And you can't let shit draw down your you can't let shit draw your energy out. You know what I'm saying? Take your energy out. So when you've exhausted all options to make things work, and there's no other option, and you find yourself unhappy consistently, then yeah, it's time to walk away.
And I agree with that, that when I've done all the necessary changes and I've allowed myself to heal from things and I'm not upset about it, I think it's a good sign that you can walk away when you can walk away without the animosity, without the hatred, like I want to kill you, I'm going to flat your tires and all of that kind of stuff. When you don't have that and you can walk away and say, this is just not good for either of us. That you can still end on good terms and say, this is just not good for us. We just should not be together. That's a time when you know that this needs to end because it's just not good for us. So when you see that, I think that's when you know it's time to go.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because if you definitely know it's not good for you, it's time to go. But I also think that things can come to a peaceful end as well. Excuse me, but as far as when it's time to go, I don't know shit. I don't know.
After all this, you
I like what Naisha Akila said.
Like you said, when you got the question, then it's time to
Whether or
go.
not it's time to go.
that is the
I do
ultimate
like
answer.
that.
That's the
Yeah.
ultimate answer right there.
That's
That's
my
the
If
ultimate
you got a
answer.
question there,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can stay around as long as you want, and if this is still not, if you're in a committed relationship and your needs are not being met either side,
Right.
what's the benefit for you guys? What's the benefit? Why are you there?
Yeah. I would say this. because technically I really don't know. Because, you know, I am so, I don't even want to use the term forgiving or so accepting of another person's fault. It does make it hard for me to not see hope in every situation, to be honest with you. So, you know, but I do believe that when it's time to go, people will just go their separate ways. But this, what I will say, do not let no one else dictate to you when the hell it is time for you to motherfucking go.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you at peace with, I don't give a fuck if you the breadwinner, you know what I'm saying, all of whatever, all of this just say it's contradicting everything that people say that your relationship should be, but you fine with that. Don't allow nobody else to dictate to you what your junk should be.
Yeah.
So I'll say that, but I can't tell you when to leave, when to go, because shit, motherfucker, I don't know. So at the end of the day, I trust God that this shit will go your way, my way, and then we won't. I'm just saying, that's the God's honest truth. But y'all know until the next time, like I thank you.
It's been real.
Right. Thanks, Saga. Like I said, for coming on. And Chef, thank you so much. We've been trying to get you on the show.
Absolutely.
You gotta come back again. It's already though, man. This is what we do. Podcasters do what they do.
Good conversation.
When they do it.
Awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Where can they follow us?
You can follow Spoken with Purpose on our Instagram page at Spoken with Purpose 3. We have 2 Facebook pages, which is Spoken with Purpose and also Spoken W Purpose. We also are on YouTube, Spoken with Purpose podcast, and then also on all of the podcast streaming services, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, all of them. Go check us out.
Absolutely. And we're going to try to go live because we're kind of checking out some new equipment to see how we can change the platform. So we might do something a little different next week, but we'll try to give you guys a heads up just in case you guys want to support and come follow us. But other than that, we out here. Dang, I'm about to go, Si.
It was cool, you know what I'm saying? It was cool, but at the same time, CTR Controversial Talk Radio, man. Y'all make sure y'all check us out on Anchor, download the app, search the CTR Show, follow us on Instagram, CTR Show, and Facebook, CTR, man. Appreciate you guys having me on the show. Real talk.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, make sure you guys go check CTR Show out because
When is the show?
It's every Sunday we go live. We try to start at 7, and between 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Sometimes we be on nigga time, you know how it go.
That's kind of like us.
But if you miss any episodes, you guys can download Anchor and catch all our old and brand new episodes that we have on there.
Yeah, and we should be on that channel. If y'all really into like real politics shit, real keeper, look, bro. The conversation real deal be real, so y'all make sure y'all go check them out.
They're very
because we wouldn't lead you nowhere that we wouldn't listen to a conversation.
Absolutely.
I've been sharing y'all show like, bitch, we need to revisit that motherfucker.
Yeah, definitely.
You got some opinion, right?
What? I be like, y'all know we should have came on that goddamn show. No, we opinionated, but at the end of the day, we out of here. We love you guys. Thanks so much for your comments.
Thank you for your
share
support.
this junk and like.
Bye.
Peace out.